Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. This will be an update for the Enterprise D build. Today is February 20th. I'm on the hangar deck and I just finished doing some major revision work to the entire deck, so we'll be replacing the hangar deck proper in the main build. I decided to go ahead and pull the deck out and correct some issues with the hallway contouring that was giving us some problems. I also revamped these airlock doors so they now have pressure doors instead of these funky ass rail things. As you can see here, they all are in now. They look a lot better in my opinion than what was here beforehand. But anyways, what we did is these and by pushing it back, you can see now how it flows a lot nicer, a lot smoother, looks pretty decent, and it holds its shape through the turbo lift here into this area and then out into the center of the side of the hangar bay, which we fixed another flaw that was in here where it would go from a two center beam to a single center beam. So all this whole area here has been reworked, so now it's all two center beams, so everything's spaced evenly apart. We come back in through here, and this was one of the major areas. This is one of the areas that really needed to be fixed. It wasn't a major fix, it was just a minor fix, to be honest with you, but it made a hell of a difference. It really did. You can see how it looks through here. It just has a better feel to it overall. Let's take a quick look here at this hangar. It's not in the ship, but you'll get the idea of what the guys have been working on here for quite some time. Look at that. Look at the detail they've put into this. Panic's been working on these racks, these storage racks. He also did up some shuttles and stuff. A lot of the doors and things have been worked on. Again, I'll try and talk them into using the black stair blocks as a pressure door, but we'll see what happens. You can see a lot of details been put through here. A lot of these pods, a lot of the flooring decals have been added. Looking pretty good. I guess Panic put a lot of time and effort into these to make sure that they looked decent. I'm pretty sure M went through and did some setup work with them first, and then Panic came through and revised them. Maybe Panic and Blue Phobes. Also, I went through and on this side here, whoops, go ahead and, because this has, all the other hangars have this edge around them, and this one doesn't. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm trying to add these edges. This is a refueling area for shuttles, and what I did here is I extended this, added a corridor to this area here, and I just kind of put a floor in, and then I sort of set up a pump and a bunch of tanks here, and I labeled it and put a doorway here. They are, I guess the best way to describe it is this is the holding tanks for the fuel for the shuttles. I don't know why, but it's in there, and if we decide not to put it in, we can just put the wall back up and it'll be done. Run through here real quick and do this before I forget. You always find something you haven't done before, and well, you've done it. Then you got to go back and realize, oh no, darn it, I missed something. And it seems to be a never-ending story with this, always missing something. But all these interior spaces have this black edge around them. I'm not really sure why. And then it has one of these kind of edges going around it. At first I thought it was part of the corridor, or excuse me, the wall setup, but then I started checking it out, and it's definitely part of the interior design. So then again, I could be wrong, but you know, who knows. Get through here and I'll show you some of the other stuff. Also been working on Deck 9, got all of the corridor pathings situated for the preliminary pass. and I went ahead and dropped down all of the magenta and turned it into, for all the sand, turned it into magenta and put it into the ship proper. Let's take a look at that real quick here as she chunk loads. Man, she's a big ship. You can get up in here. Well, yeah, you can see just how big that hangar is from here. That's massive. I'll show you the actual floor plan for it here in a second. But anyways, here's the Deck 9, and I should mention before we get too far here, Panic and I went ahead and put the stellar cartography or astrophysics lab in, basically the set piece where you see Data and Picard talking about what Soren's up to in Star Trek Generations, and Data has a nervous breakdown. Happened right here. But we used the space that was otherwise going to be pretty much dead space, and where it used to be hydroponics. Well, hydroponics got shortened because we changed the lift systems. So hydroponics is still here, but this section here underneath, we went ahead and decided to put the egg in there and then turn this into the astrophysics lab area. All of this through here will be, and up here will be astrophysics. Come back down here to Deck 9. This deck right here. We'll be starting on Deck 10 here in a couple of days. Deck 10 is the Hell deck. That'll be the largest deck of the ship. It'll take the longest to do. Hopefully, not that long. We've been going through them pretty good. But there's still quite a bit left to do on Deck 9 here. I got to keep people from putting up walls because I don't want any walls put in here yet. I've run into some issues where walls have been put up and they shouldn't have been put up. But yeah, hindsight, can I tell you? But as you can see here, the corridors are all in, and I even added a couple extra corridors to this deck and to the deck above it, like this one right here. And I also added it to the deck above it so that it makes more sense. And why not? Anyways, it runs down through here and adjacent to this whole corridor here. Also added in these corridors. On the plans, this whole section from that corridor to that Jeffries tube, to that Jeffries tube there, was all of this. 3 decks tall, 4 decks tall actually, because this floor has been added, was assigned as the gravity generator. This whole section, gravity generator. And then this whole section over here, which has now been covered up, and I went ahead and started putting in the corridors in through here, is structural integrity. And I was like, what the heck? You know, we've proven with the Defiant, with the Voyager, and with the Enterprise E, we don't need these massive sections. I mean, gargantuan sections to set aside for those devices. So, and then we decided, well, we aren't going to use these for anything. Why not just turn these into future home of IDF and SFS systems? So, structural integrity, gravity generators, and inertial dampeners. And this will be the port side, that'll be starboard side, then there'll be, or this could be a shield generator. And then there'll be another gravity generator up there for localized gravity and stuff like that, probably for the hangar deck. Who knows? But put those in and decided that's a better use of this space because then we could use this entire complex here as an engineering complex. And since it is, you know, pretty close to the engineering section of the ship, the impulse engines and stuff, running power to it and things like that shouldn't be an issue. I also added in this right here on these decks, these Jeffries tubes, and been working on this engine area here, and I was working on this while I was watching The Expanse on the Sci-Fi Channel. I listened to the audiobooks of The Expanse. There's, well, I think 6 books now. They're all really good, and I gotta say the Sci-Fi Channel's done a really nice job of translating the books to TV. So if you haven't seen The Expanse yet, I strongly recommend you watch that. Or at least wait till it comes out on Netflix, but it's a really good series, and if you'd like to read or listen to audiobooks, I really recommend the audiobooks of The Expanse as well, or the book itself. Anyways, this sits above the impulse engines, and there's nothing really. There's a catwalk here, but on the plans themselves, but there was so much room left back here. I went ahead and put a corridor, and then we can have access to all the stuff in here. And I don't know what we could put in here, but it'll probably be engineering systems like batteries, or not batteries, but stuff. And this gray section here is just, you know, so that I know that from this point this way it's only too high. But that can all be removed and used for other things. Now we've done something very similar to this on the Enterprise E, where we had space like this, and we turned it into component areas. And I think that's what we'll probably end up doing here as well. Like, you know, we'll figure something out. But I extended the corridor, then I ran a corridor right up through here, and I straightened it out. Beforehand it was kind of a ziggly line. I was trying to follow the contours of this, and this right here, this Jeffries tube, and it looks like part of my Jeffries tube's been millified here, but these things happen. Actually, I was right. Yep. As I was saying, sometimes these things happen. I'll go back through and I'll make sure that I have the spacing correct here real quick. But yeah, I've added these Jeffries tubes in, and I extended out these corridors. And I wanted to make sure I also added a, actually, let's go ahead and do it this way. Here we go. This would be on that side, and this would go like this. Yep, see, we have it pretty good. This is what I do when I'm thinking. I'm trying to sort this stuff out and get it all in and placed. And I think there's on the deck below it. Yep, right there. Consistency between the decks is very, very, very important, and it's one of the things that really plagued the old Enterprise build, was that they were never consistent with their, and it wasn't their fault. I mean, it was the way it worked out. And a lot of these big open areas and stuff, like this big open area here, you got me. I think what I'm going to do with this blue section here is I'm going to go ahead and drop this corridor down, these two corridors, and then in this section through here, set up like a pass-through between the two decks, and then have an emergency transporter in here, and do a series of emergency transporters, like one, and then two, then a servicing room for the transporters, then another transporter, cross over another transporter, another servicing, very close to what I did with the Enterprise E and its emergency transporters, how I set those up. I think I'm going to do the same thing with the D here, because we need more transporters. Em and I were talking, and I agree. She was right. We definitely need more transporters through here. A lot of engineering transporters anyways. Engineering equipment, we need a fabrication. That's what I might do over here, is I might make this a engineering fabrication area, because it seems like it'd be a good spot for it. So yeah, probably turn this into an engineering fabrication area, if not here, then one of these sections through here. But we went ahead and got the interlock stuff in, and since most of the interlock stuff is set up for this deck up here, we went ahead and stretched it all the way up. And the way the interlocks I think are going to work is, imagine if these two blocks are, these are interlocks, okay? Now they grapple magnetically. There's no latching or anything else that goes on. There are mechanical latches, but they're, you know, mostly going to be metal on, or magnetic grappling. So what happens is that one there raises, this deck here lowers it, they connect, and they have this really large, really strong rare earth type magnetic pull on each other, and they're magnetic grappling. So, and there'll be some, you know, so that way they don't have to twist, they don't have to do anything. And if anything, we could set up so they come out, and maybe like something else will come out of them like that, you know, it retracts it, that kind of stuff. it's really hard to do stuff like that in Minecraft, but we're going to try anyways. But that leaves these big open spaces here, and I forget if this was, I think this was labeled water storage. Again, I'm not going to store bulk H2O on a spaceship. It'll be stored in gas form because they can compress the gas and carry a lot more of it than they can water. Then yeah, Starship, they can just create water out of thin air using transporters, and well, even that, they can just beam it up with replicators and stuff. Anyways, so I went ahead and straightened this out, and it looks like, yeah, it looks pretty straight. I mean, it's a straight shot all the way up to the center of the ship, and then I extended this right here, this Jeffries tube. I keep calling these Jeffries tubes. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning, so I'm kind of whispering when I'm talking here, but these are turbo shafts. Yeah, turbo shafts. And yeah, I figured, why not? They connect. Might as well make use of them. And when I get down here to deck 10, I'll probably do the same thing I did up here, and use this right here as this deck here is a blueprint for this deck as well. And same thing with over in the engineering sections. Now I'm leaving a lot of this stuff here so that we have reference materials, but I'm trying to cleaning up a little bit as I go. You can only do so much, with what's here, because you got so many of these extra blocks that the process of importing kind of created. But you'll figure it out. I also raised these catwalks up because it seemed like a prudent idea. I think they did it in the original build as well. I thought it was pretty cool, so I went ahead and emulated that, kind of an homage to the original builders. And again, we have these big open spaces here, and these are catwalks, but these are gangways down into the next deck. And I don't understand, unless there's more, why. This just throws me. This just really throws me. Because you have this big open space above it, and then you have this right here. And if you transition down to this deck here, there's no reason. There's nothing down here. So, and bottom line is, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people down here to try and run up to these escape pods. So it doesn't really make any sense to me why these are in there. I guess they're just figured to use up the space or something, but I don't know. I'll try and implement 1 or 2 of them, but I'm not going to do as many as that appears to be around here, which is quite a few. 4 or 5 of them, actually, per side. I think I'll do 2 per side and then not worry about it. I am seriously considering covering this section here as well, and then doing the same thing I did up here and drop this down, turn this into something other than what it's been set up for originally, which is structural. All of this structural integrity, including this right here, I added this. All of this whole section was structural integrity. Why? I'm serious. Why? We could use this for additional storage, cargo. It could be the aquatic, aquatic tanks like we did on the Enterprise E. But I don't think we could do the same thing we did with the Enterprise E because it just wouldn't work. There's too many important connections that have to be made here. Although, to be honest with you, got all these up here. We really don't need this down here. All we would need is we would need it down here because this is the main deck with all the escape pods and stuff. But, I don't know. We might do something. I'll talk to Em and see what she wants to do. But overall, it's coming along quite nicely. I gotta say, Deck 9, despite some problems, pulled itself together pretty quickly, and I'm hoping Deck 10 here will do the same. What I'd like to do, and I don't know what the situation is going to be for it, but I'd like to get Deck 10 done, at least this upper section of Deck 10 done, so that we can pull the grotto out and pass the grotto, because I think we have a person that's interested in working on the grotto, but they don't want to be interfered with when they start working on it. So when we pull it out, it's got to be pretty much, hey, this section here is locked, we're not going to change it. And I guess they want to do a lot of tweaking and adjusting and stuff. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Picking up a lot of the German guys and European people this early in the morning. But yeah, look at the grotto. It's pretty big. It's actually quite a lot larger than the one that's on the Enterprise D. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes together, because that's huge. And if I had my way again, I would fill this upper deck. Pardon me, I would fill this upper deck with wool, and then just use these decks down here as the grotto, because on this side, I think there's a turbo lift. Yeah, over here there's a turbo lift. Given the height and stuff that this is going to have available to it, you really, honest God, don't need this upper level here. This really should be filled, in my opinion, and used as crew quarters or something else. But I don't know. I'll have to run that one by him as well, see what she says about that. Anyways, I do appreciate taking time to watching it. This is the Minetrek.net game server. And before we exit here, I'll show you this deck plan of the hangar deck that we've done. As you can see, it's kind of pretty well outlined. Looks a lot cleaner. Yeah, I've got a little bit more room on this end, but that can't be helped. That's just the design, one of those things. But yeah, it looks a lot better. Has a lot nicer edge to it. Not so jagged. So beforehand, when this yellow line was here, it was really, really bad. It looked like somebody used SketchUp to draw it. It was just really horrid. But now it's looking pretty decent, so I'm pretty happy with it. I did revamp some of these rooms over here as well. Anyways, again, I do appreciate you taking time to watch, and if you'd hit that like button for me, greatly appreciate it. And also, if you would, consider donating to the server. Servers and things don't run themselves. They need money, real-world money to run, and I'm sure M. Heller would appreciate any and all contributions to the Minetrek server. And again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.